Welcome back again. Today, we're going to discuss cascading in JPA. Now this is a very important topic. In the previous videos, we implemented one-to-one mapping, both unidirectional and bidirectional. But you might have noticed something. Whenever we saved an employee with bank details, we had to save the employee first, then manually save the bank detail, and during delete, we had to delete the child first. That's a lot of manual work. So the question is, can JPA handle this automatically? Yes. And that's exactly what cascading is for. Alright guys, so let's first understand. What is cascading? Now don't think complex. Cascading simply means, when you perform an operation on the parent entity, the same operation automatically happens on the child entity. That's it. For example, if I save an employee, and that employee has a bank detail, then with cascading enabled, I don't need to save bank detail separately. JPA will automatically save it. Same with delete. If I delete employee, bank detail can also be deleted automatically. Earlier, what were we doing? Save employee. Then save bank detail manually. Delete bank detail. Then delete employee. Too much manual work. Cascading removes that extra effort. Very important point. Cascading does not create the relationship. It's valid for all type of relationship. Cascade just controls how operations propagate. That's the key difference. Alright. Now let's talk about the types of cascade in JPA. Because cascade is not just one behavior. We have different cascade types depending on what operation you want to propagate. Let's go one by one. CascadeType.persist. This means, when you save the parent entity, the child entity is also saved automatically. Example. You save employee, bank detail is also saved. CascadeType.merge. This is for update operations. When you update the parent entity, the child entity will also be updated automatically. CascadeType.remove. This is for delete. When you delete the parent entity, the child entity will also be deleted. Very useful in one-to-one relationships. But use carefully. CascadeType.refresh. If you refresh the parent entity from the database, the child entity will also be refreshed. CascadeType.detach. If you detach the parent entity from the persistence context, the child entity is also detached. CascadeType.all. This is the combination of all cascade types. It includes persist, merge, remove, refresh, detach. So when you use CascadeType.all, all operations propagate automatically. Now important note. Don't blindly use all everywhere. Understand your use case first. Cascade controls propagation behavior. Alright. Now let's move to the code. See my screen. See, it provides a cascade attribute. You'll see multiple cascade type options. Exactly the ones we just discussed. Persist, merge, remove, refresh, detach, all. Each one controls a different type of operation propagation. So here, we're not just adding cascade blindly. We're telling JPA exactly what kind of operations should automatically move from parent to child. Very important. If you only want save to propagate, then use persist. If you want delete to propagate, then use remove. If you want everything, then use all. So the cascade attribute gives us control. The cascade attribute is actually an array. That means you can pass multiple cascade type values. Alright. For this example, I'm going to use cascade equals CascadeType.all. Now what does this mean? It means all operations will propagate from parent to child. So if I save employee, bank detail will be saved. Update employee, bank detail will be updated. Delete employee, bank detail will be deleted. Refresh or detach, same will apply to bank detail. Everything is handled automatically. Important point. Cascade works from the side where you define it. If we define Cascade in employee, then saving employee saves bank detail. But saving bank detail will not save employee unless Cascade is defined there too. Cascade is directional. Alright, open employee service. Earlier, we manually saved bank detail. Now not required. Remove bank detail repository.save. Follow my screen. Now, move the bank detail object just above the employee object. Next step, set this bank detail into the employee object. Why is this important? Because now employee is the parent. And we defined Cascade equals CascadeType.all on this side. So when we save employee, JPA will look at its associated bank detail. If this reference is not set, Cascade won't work. Start the application. Now let's save a new employee. Alright. We got an error. Check the console log carefully. Oh, we forgot to set the employee in bank detail. Since it's marked as not nullable, JPA will give us an error. Set employee detail in bank detail object. Restart the application. Now hit the API again. Now see, we got success. And this time, employee ID equals 3 is generated. That means everything is working correctly. Alright, now open the database. Check the employee table. You can clearly see the record with employee_ID 3. Perfect. Now open the bank_detail table. See a bank record linked with employee_ID 3. That confirms Cascade is working perfectly. We only saved employee. Bank details saved automatically. Now open the console log. See what JPA did internally. First, it executed an insert query for employee. That makes sense. Because employee is the parent entity. After that, immediately below, you can see another insert query for bank detail. And we did not call bank detail repository.save manually. So why did it run? Because of Cascade is set to CascadeType.all. When we called employee repository.save, JPA looked at the associated bank detail object. Since the relationship was properly set in memory, it automatically triggered the insert for bank detail. Now hit the Get API. We got the proper details of the employee. And along with that we also got the bank detail. Alright. Now let's see what happens when we call the delete operation on employee. This is where cascading becomes very interesting. Follow my screen carefully. We are going to create a delete method in employee service. Alright. It's done. Now let's expose it through a REST API. Now let's start the application. Alright, now hit the delete API. Great. We got success. Let's verify it in the database. See, the record is no longer there with employee ID 3. Now check the bank_detail table. That record is also gone. Look at the logs. JPA first deletes the record from the bank detail table because of CascadeType all, and then it deletes the parent record from the employee table. Don't just watch. Try these Cascade combinations yourself as shown on my screen, and also experiment with different combinations to see how they behave. Now one very important thing. Use Cascade carefully. Do not blindly use CascadeType all everywhere. Because cascading means operations will automatically propagate. And sometimes, that is dangerous. For example, imagine this scenario. A teacher belongs to a college. If you delete a teacher, should the college also get deleted? Obviously not. College is independent. Teacher is just associated with it. That would be a disaster. So Cascade must be applied based on ownership and lifecycle dependency. Ask yourself, is the child entity completely dependent on the parent? If yes, Cascade makes sense. But if both entities can exist independently, don't use Cascade remove. Alright, that's it for today. We understood cascading step by step. If this video helped you, please like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment if you have any questions. Your support really motivates me to create more backend content like this. See you in the next video.